Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here. Publicly Buzzed Live is on the air, coming at you tonight with a very special live stream here on Wednesday night. Thanks for joining me. Please hit the like if you have not. Share this out on the old X machine. Just now sent that message out there. Got two very special guests here with me tonight. We're going over, some of these interviews with Stephan Stearns. And, we got a fucking expert in the house here tonight. And, excited. Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock.
Yo, everybody. Publicly Buzzed is happening here. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate it. I don't know if Botrick is going to wake its ass up. I hope it does. We'll keep an eye on that. But I have two very special guests ready to pop on here and, get into this here tonight. Again, thanks for joining me. I do appreciate it, guys. If you do share it out, I'd appreciate that as well. Like I said there at the very beginning, it's on X. Let's go. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Duett and Lee Mellor. What's up, guys?
What up?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Lee. First of all, I just met you a moment ago. You popped in the backstage there, dude. But yeah, man, I was telling Chris, and you probably overheard there a little bit. I was listening to an interview with you on a podcast from like 6 years ago. Because I didn't know who you were. No offense whatsoever. When Chris said he was bringing on, I'm like, I'm going to do a little bit of research here. Dude, you were mellow as fuck. I was like, this guy's fucking dope as hell, man. So yeah, welcome in here, brother. Yeah.
Until I'm not, and then people find out about the other side.
I'm glad to have you, dude.
I don't have a great middle ground, right? I don't have like that gray gradation between me being mellow and me being a problem.
It's true. He's just always a menace. He's just very unassuming, you know. He parades as this smart fellow with these fancy PhDs, but Lee's he's an absolute torture on society. I promise you.
And Chris, dude, I'm glad that you brought this to my attention to do this show. First of all, this is a case that I haven't dove into really at all, quite frankly. I knew the majority of it, from social media and being in this field and kind of seeing stuff go. And since we've talked about it, I've looked a little bit deeper. And some of the interviews we're looking to hear tonight, I didn't fully watch them. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of dive in here and get to your guys' opinions. Have a discussion.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. We're gonna check out a little bit about this case, and we're gonna kind of break down, give our eyes and our experience on what we're seeing. Lee has interviewed serial killers and things, people like that himself. He's helped me analyze several murderers. Lee and I have worked together on several things, and People are, we're gonna give what we see, and check out what the chat has to say and everything. But this is a really dark case. It's out of Florida, around the area where I'm from, so I'm very.
How far were you from this one? I know there's endless fucked up shit happens from where you were at.
Yeah, I was probably about half an hour from where all this shit transpired.
That's crazy, dude. You're literally was in the hub of fucking the worst shit.
Yeah. I'm surprised this case hasn't received more national media attention. It's pretty deviant. One of the darker ones I've seen in a while. And I got to roll out there and check out the townhome community. I didn't go in there. Checked out the area where Maddie Soto, the victim in this case, where her body was dumped. It's just an awful case, Stephan Stearns, the suspect, is currently facing the death penalty for this. He's just has been a crazy liar, and I think he's a psychopath. I think there's a good argument that this dude is a fucking full-blown psychopath. He checks a lot of the boxes. We'll talk about it, and we'll kind of dissect it as we go and pick him apart as we see him tell lies in real time, his body language in the moment where, this is less than 24 hours since he's killed somebody. And there's a lot of paraphilic sexual elements to the crime, which Lee is an expert in homicide in contrast with sex crimes, I believe, right, Lee? Something? Please correct me.
Yeah, well, you use the term expert. I won't say the degree, but yeah, I know. I'm formally educated on studying sex crimes and paraphilia. One of my supervisors on my doctoral dissertation, and I did classes with Eric Hickey.
Eric Hickey is, if people don't know who Eric Hickey is, you should know who Eric Hickey is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with
serial
who Eric
killer
Hickey is.
textbook.
Yeah, he is
Googling him.
creme de la creme of serial killer information and what have you, and psychological components of those types of killers. Lee was lucky enough to work with Dr. Eric Hickey, which is someone that I respect the shit out of. So we're gonna give what we have to break this dude down. I don't have near the education of Lee, and I don't, I'll offer what I can, but yeah.
I'm excited to get in here. The first one, we were talking, Chris, you wanted to do the Bodycam footage video release, the very first one, right? Like when they're coming into, I don't know where exactly they're located, but he kind of comes in on them. Looks like they're maybe on a hospital or something.
Yeah.
Police station, actually.
I think it's like the lobby where Jen Soto, Maddie Soto's mom, where her mom worked or something like that, or lived or some shit like that. Yeah.
I couldn't make it out. It just seemed like the type of, seemed like a medical type area.
Also, for anyone who's been following this case, the mom is a very suspicious character in all of this, but we're not gonna, that's all subjective right now. She's not being charged with anything. It hasn't been said she knows anything. So we're just going to kind of, we'll leave that alone as much as we can. Stephan Stearns is the one we want to focus on. So
cool. Yeah, let's get in here. Let's jump in here. Make sure I got the sound right first of all. Boom. Boom. Boom.
So the day prior to this, Maddie Soto had her 13th birthday party and then went home. Stephan Stearns came to Jen Soto's townhome where they lived. Jen said she needed a good night of sleep, sent Maddie upstairs to sleep with Stephan. And he said, he took her to school in the morning and blah, blah, blah. Jen went to pick her up from school. She wasn't there. This is when they had filed a missing persons report. It was later revealed that she had been murdered and dumped, and it's very, very likely Stephan Stearns. But yeah, this is when they first made contact with police over her, over Maddie being missing.
This is mom.
Has he been arrested and charged, Chris?
Yes, he has. Since he's been charged with capital murder since then, and he's been charged with I want to say 35,000 images of child.
I know I did see they found a lot of shit on his
material. Phone. Yeah, and then there's a separate case where he was charged each count of each photo or video that he had in his Google Drive of him abusing Maddie going back to when she was 8 years old. So this dude is a piece of fucking shit. He had been raping that child since she was 8, killed her right after her 13th birthday. Cause of death, I believe, has been released as strangulation. They didn't find her body till like 5 days later, but this is the day that he, went missing, and he was the last person seen with her. So
yeah, maybe it's too early even to say in this, but like, did he have like some kind of fucking freak out? Like, he's taking her to school. Like, she's like, that's so confusing. Like, I know he'd already been abusing her for so many fucking years. Maybe she had a breaking point, or.
And that's the thing, is nobody knows what led to the murder, which is very interesting. But this, in real time, every serial killer I've ever talked to said that they were fucking nervous as shit their first murder, and then after that it was a cakewalk. So this dude right now, the cops are coming up. This shit is getting real right now. Yeah,
his heart is racing. He's got to be freaking
absolutely
out.
Yeah, before we move on, I just preemptively, reasons that he might have been abusing for a long time, then suddenly killed her. Obviously, it's like, could have just wanted to go that extra step further. Could have gone that extra step further without planning to, just got excited. It could have been an accident, right? We've talked, Chris, off camera, you were saying that there was images where she appeared to be asleep while he was raping her, and I said, well, the kind of rape you just described doesn't seem like something you can sleep through. And you said, well, yeah, she was drugged. Well, she might have died during drugging, or someone like this too. could be choking her.
She did have a broken hyoid bone, Lee.
She did not?
She did.
Okay, well, that's what it could be. So it could be that this is part of his sexual practices with her. You know, that he's kind of got this sadistic choking thing, and then he went too far by accident. Or it could have been that he chose to this time. Or it could have also been that she said something like, I'm going to tell, and he panicked and killed her. So there's a few possibilities.
Just to dig into his paraphilias a little bit more that were uncovered, he was taking photos surreptitiously of Jen's female roommates underneath the bathroom door with his phone. So, you know, you got voyeuristic things happening. There's stories. This is not in any official reports, but there's stories from people who claim to know him who said that as a teenager, he got caught trying to put a camera outside of a neighbor's bathroom where the matriarch of the family showered. He, at one point, a former friend of his claimed that he put a hidden camera to spy on another roommate's girlfriend. And so there's a history of, you know, that type of behavior. And then there is in an official police report, a woman who dated him said that he would not get fully aroused sexually unless she laid face down limp.
Wow.
So I can get into that, or we can watch the video we're going to watch. You guys choose.
Steve, this is your show.
Yeah, we'll get into the video a little bit, and we'll go on a little bit.
Okay.
Now this is Chris's show.
Tonight
this is Chris's.
My daughter
No way.
was dropped off close to school this morning, but never made it. I went to pick her up from school.
I'm sorry, one second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
But anytime you guys want to break in, Lee, you feel free, definitely.
Yeah. We can talk over it a little bit, you know. So in her report and all this, she just parrots what he had told her because he was the last one to see her. She was very uninvolved in her life, seemingly, you know. And maybe she just didn't want to come off that way or neglectful or like a bad mom or a bad person. I really don't know. Again, I'm not here to theorize about Jen. But Stephan Stearns is just kind of standing there in the background, trying to be nondescript around the cops, it seems.
Yeah, he's just kind of chilling here. Like, I mean, yeah, just imagine though, like if you put yourself in that, just for, you know, kind of going off here, but you've just killed someone that morning, you know, here you are this night, you're trying to go through the story of whole shit, I don't know where the fuck she's at.
Well, I mean, realistically, I think he had been up all night the previous night. You know, he had probably been abusing and killed her. And then, you know, I don't think he had planned to kill her. And I think he had to figure it out. And I also, you know, I don't know if he was abusing. He did say he took like Adderall or something like that. If he was abusing that, like amphetamine drugs of some sort, and that was keeping him going. I don't know, but yeah, he's been up for a long time, killed a girl, you know, so this is all performance right now. This is all performance. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be doing any of this.
To walk here to this office. I came here, nothing. I went back to the school, they were closed. I got an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
Okay, what's her name?
Madeline. Madeline.
Madeline. Last name?
Soto. S-O-T-O.
S-O-T-O?
Yeah.
Date of birth?
February 22nd, 2011.
February 27th, 2000?
22nd.
Oh, sorry, 22nd,
2011.
2011.
Just had her 13th birthday.
13.
Charlie Worldwide. What's the name of the single age?
Madeline Soto, age 13. I'm trying to get a clothing description now. What was she last seen wearing?
Charlie Worldwide. People hit my call 931. It's the same call.
Green hoodie.
Green hoodie.
White Crocs.
White Crocs.
Either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
He threw away one of her Crocs in the garbage.
What was that?
He threw away one of her Crocs in the garbage. She says she was seen wearing green hoodie, jeans, and white Crocs. One of her white Crocs was found in the garbage where he threw her backpack with her laptop. and other things the morning that he, I guess he had been driving around with her body for some time.
I did see that. Yeah, like I guess that.
Yeah, until he dumped her. But in between all that, he was throwing evidence and shit away. They said he was doing laundry, things like that. And then it's funny, Jen corrected him here and said, oh, she was wearing black shorts. And he quickly goes, oh, black shorts? Okay, black shorts. She never even saw her that morning. And if she was dressed, he probably dressed her because he killed her, because he had her propped up in the front seat like she was sleeping, and even told the guard at the guard shack or something like that, like she's asleep, whatever. But she was dead. He like, you know, so
Well, hold
so
on, Madeline didn't see her on the day that she was killed. Is that what you just said?
Jen didn't see Madeline.
Sorry, Jen didn't see Madeline. Sorry.
Yeah, she sent her to bed with Stephan the night before so she could sleep. And she never saw her the next morning.
So how does she know she was wearing black shorts?
She doesn't. She never saw her. So again, I'm not gonna. She hasn't been charged with anything. It's just, I think maybe it could be reasonable to say she didn't want to seem neglectful. She didn't want to seem like a piece of shit who didn't see her child at all that day. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
was the child wearing black shorts when the body was found?
I think she was wearing. I'm not sure on that. I think she was.
Tiff said she was wearing jeans.
Yeah, I think she was wearing jeans. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Yeah.
Okay, and sorry, what did Stephan say again?
He said initially, she was wearing jeans, a green.
Well, there you go.
Hood. Yeah. So
he knew, and then she corrected him, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, sure."
Yeah, she incorrectly corrected him, and he went ahead and took the opportunity to kind of like jumble that up into the investigation to make it, you know, that's his psychopathic mind at play, I believe. But because I think any person, I mean, it goes without saying, like if you're, I don't know, it's
Let's go a little further.
Okay. Black shorts. All right. Do you know if she has like friends in the area?
She does, but she doesn't know where they live.
She doesn't know where they live. Okay.
I asked all of them.
Okay. Is this like, does she like have any places that you guys know that she'll usually be at? Any friend's house? Any places that like she likes to hang out?
Not typically, no.
No.
Not typically?
No.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I get some.
Thank you.
No problem. And what school she goes to?
Hunters Creek Middle School.
Hunters Creek Middle? All right, cool. 125. Do you have a picture of her? Can you airdrop it to me?
Yeah, I know. Let me see which picture. I don't know which picture.
Anything recently, probably from a birthday party, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't there, so I have to look at what's up.
Who are these other people?
her family members.
Okay.
She didn't even call 911 to report her missing. She had one of her family members do it.
Yeah, and so they're in the lobby of like what, the condo or apartment that they live in.
Yeah, I think I think it's where Jen Soto's mom lives or works or something like that.
Okay.
It's something to do with like where a family member lives or works or something.
Okay.
Go ahead. That's what I'm about to grab right now.
Yeah, Mind of Monsters said her sister was the actual one that called the cops. So I'm trying to really temper myself and not go off on Jen Soto and keep this about Stephan Stern.
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
It's hard
because we all probably have some feelings here. But...
Yeah. I'm trying not to dig into the feelings, you know. But Stephan's cool as a cucumber, you know.
I got you. Okay, where's the photo? Right there.
It's on WhatsApp.
That's fine.
But if he drops his arm, it's just going to be sweat right here. It's just,
I would be.
Okay, perfect.
Mind of Monsters, what up? I'm from
I'm gonna send it
Oviedo.
out right now to my other guys.
yeah,
It's
she's
a bit of
cool.
a trip, right? Because you're going to be anticipating communicating with the police. So you're part of you is going, well, if they say this, what'll I say? I'll say that.
Right.
Well, what if they say this? What if they ask to see this thing? What if that? But then the more you do that, the more you amp yourself up. And so it's like trying to strike that criminal balance of being naturally chill with also not playing yourself by not knowing what to say.
And that's a great point, Lee. And I think he does that very, when we get to the media interview, he does that very well in the media interview. But the police, they're pros and they rip him apart, you know, and his shit doesn't hold up. But that's why the
He's new to
media
this,
interview,
they're not.
yeah, the media interview, he doesn't have anybody in his face pushing back, you know?
Right.
So that's when we get to see him, you know, full blown fucking liar, you know?
Let's go to part 2 here.
The question is not, why is this not a code 3 when it first came out? Yeah, so that last time she was seen, it was early this morning, like 7 o'clock. That's what I'm about to see. I'm about to go check. I just try to get as much information now of her clothing description, send it to Diaz, because Diaz has a hit in like a big area full of kids. So if you want to help me out with this one, I'm my signal expert.
Are they still looking for a photo?
By any chance, does she have a phone number or phone?
She does, but she left it at home today. I have it.
You have it.
And I've already gone through her messages.
Okay. How about, does she have like an Apple Watch? No.
She's got a device. The only device she's got on her right now is her school laptop.
Her school laptop? Is that trackable?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It should be trackable. It should be.
If the Wi-Fi is turned on, it'll try to connect to any Wi-Fi. So if I like circle here,
It connects to any USB.
Well, does she know have a history of running away or anything like that?
Never.
She was hanging out last time kind of?
Possibly, I don't know. She got dropped off. She was like, so she's embarrassed by his car. So she didn't want to be dropped off at school. She wanted to be dropped off like half a block away so she can walk.
It's an image thing. She's in the face.
But he dropped her off half a block away and drove away.
Okay. Did she ever go to school though?
No, we called
She
school.
was walking in that direction. She was rifling through her backpack, just looking for something. I thought maybe she was just looking for headphones before she got her walking on.
Yeah.
But she was just kind of, shambling over in that direction. It looked the same as any other morning.
Okay.
What was the last thing you asked?
If she went to school, I think that's what it's
He says the same as any other morning, but he says he never takes her to school. I don't know if a lot of people have ever caught that, but
That's, yeah.
I've watched a lot of these fucking things. I don't think I've seen anybody catch that. I think I haven't caught that until just now. But yeah, he said the same as any other morning. But when they ask him and her throughout the investigation, does he ever take her to school? They go, no, not really. So
Do you know how she normally got to school? Was it Jen or?
Yeah, it was Jen.
Okay.
So for him to say she was rifling through her backpack, walking towards school, same as any other morning, is very fucking strange.
Yeah. Even the way when he's like kind of like going through that with the cop, the way kind of Jen is just sort of like, like the way she's kind of listening to him, even like, I don't know.
She's strange. Again,
like I know we're not getting deep into her, but
I know she's subjective and again, feelings. I get it, but yeah.
And the next thing we're looking at, the interview, with him, for the news or whoever the fuck did that, She starts that out. Do you want to skip her entire thing and just go straight to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
From the school that she never made it. They sent me an email saying she didn't make it. But I also spoke to her or emailed one of her teachers directly, and he looked at all her attendance for all her periods and told me she didn't make it at all today.
Okay.
Say it again? No, she's supposed to have a book bag. She was supposed to go to school, but didn't go to school today.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Battery FTOA 212319 Turtleback Loop. Third party for Saturday.
Okay.
Complaint
Alright.
Children
Cool.
by two juvenile males. Your request 1045 only. It's code 21945.
I'm trying to figure out secondary spots, but so far negative on anything. Yeah, you could be 51 to me. Alright, cool. 34 too. Alright, cool.
Attention Sector 4 units, prepare to copy a local from OPD at Warren.
Yeah, it said negative on that hit at the park.
Way,
So.
reference a 21 to a vehicle. Pursuing local, reference a 21 to a vehicle.
I think
Going
black
to be
shorts.
an unknown male, gray hoodie,
Also
black
black
pants,
shorts
black
and
ski mask,
white Crocs with
gloves.
socks.
No further information. 1064, 1946.
And when was the last time you seen her? Do you know around what time?
Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off.
How tall is she?
5'1",
Weight?
110 pounds,
About 110, 120.
Hair color?
blonde.
Blonde, like a dirty blonde.
Like a dirty blonde?
Yeah.
Okay. Eye color?
Blue.
Does she have any markings on her, like any scars or
She
anything
has
like that?
a distinctive beauty mark on her face
On her
here.
face?
On the face, like below the nose or near the nose?
Yeah, like right in that area there. It's very distinctive. You'd know it if you saw it. Big.
Any other scars or anything like that? We should know.
Scars?
No.
Tattoos?
Tattoos? No.
You'd be surprised. Did you put out the description?
I put the top part out. I didn't get the rest of the stuff yet, so I need to put it out.
Counting 30 40s here.
His body language of, his arms being crossed, they're just permanently like that. I don't want to be reading too much into it, but they're a little too fixed.
Very still as well.
I don't think he's moved
Yeah.
at all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's adopted this kind of defensive position and he's secure in it. And
Doesn't want to give him anything to work with or be suspicious of, or just,
it's not even just that. I think it's for himself psychologically, right? He's kind of anchored himself and he feels comfortable in that. And he's, that's how he's dealing with the stress of it.
So this is how he's regulating, you think, Lee?
I think so, yeah.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
White female.
Can I just see that phone?
Black shorts, white plastic socks, approximately 5'1" blonde, dirty blonde hair, blue eyes, has a beauty mark under the nose.
He's very interested in the investigation. He's fixated on the police.
Yeah. Yeah, because his body language says like he could almost be just sort of leaning against the wall in the background.
Yeah.
But instead he's in the middle of the room and he's kind of leaning slightly forward.
That's a good fucking
pay
point.
attention.
And even
Not
look at the other
looking
people in the room. Like, technically, I know, like, he lives with her and is a father figure. That's a fucked up thing to say, but in this position, that's what you're kind of thinking if you're the cop. But still, like, look at the other people in the room. Like, they're still acting
tight.
at least
Yeah.
like they don't know she's dead. They think she's a missing child. Like, there's no reason to think the worst yet. Like,
yeah, and he's not casual. There's nothing casual about how he look how fixated he is on them.
Yeah. Yeah, very
He wants to
intense
know
stare.
every word they're writing down, every word they're saying, everything.
Yeah. Locked body language, standing in the middle of the room. It's like he's putting himself front and center and he doesn't even know it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Good point.
A
Lee.
random 407 number.
Like, he looks so fucking odd. Like, he really does.
Hello? Yes?
See, now he's paying attention to the phone. He wants to know what's going on there.
Hi, Principal. I'm okay. How are you?
That was almost a relief when she said, "Hi, Principal," and he goes,
Did I get in the
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find her
paperwork? Does she have any social media or anything like that?
She has an Instagram.
right here.
Private. Just family,
Thank you
cousins,
so much. I
friends.
definitely appreciate it.
Right here.
That's her profile?
Yeah.
But the other people in the background, you can see them acting more naturally.
Yeah.
They're moving around a bit. They're kind of more casual. But he's just standing front and center with his arms locked. And you're right, he's listening to every bit of information that's going on. He's trying to pick up on it. So, it's also contrasting him with everyone else around. They're probably, if everyone was innocent, they would also be equally worried, right? But look how they're acting compared to how he's acting.
Right.
She also has a YouTube page.
Okay. Any Snapchat or...
Right? She plays games.
No, that's not a
She plays games. She plays like Minecraft.
He's just trying to figure out where he want to go.
We're going to go into... I've already got it set up for this part right here. And do you know how many days after this is? Maybe the next day?
Yeah, I want to say it was... Someone in the chat will correct me if I'm wrong, and that's totally cool. I want to say it's the following day, yeah.
Okay, that would make sense, too.
And
because...
I think at this point, it had been 2 days of him not really sleeping. He didn't really sleep that night. So we just saw the police, the initial missing persons report, and then I believe that night he took Jen's car and went back 2 hours southwest to Northport, around where his parents live. That's where they found, I think, the 35,000 images of child porn is down around that area. But he also drove back to where he put Maddie's body in Jen's car. Again, why? Nobody knows. But could it have been for sexual reasons? Could it have been to cover the body up more? Because he might have been, in a hurry to get out there during the day, and he was seen over there. No one really knows at this point why he took her car back to where Maddie's body was. I think it was he was over there for 30 minutes or something. I don't know.
Or it's just rattling around in his head, right? You can see that there's a lot going on mentally. And so he's going, is she hidden all right? And then I should go look, which isn't the right decision. You've already committed at that point.
Something I want to put out. Go ahead.
Distance away from it, but to me, it shows it's probably rattling around in his head. Are they going to find her? Are they going to find her? Shit, I should go look.
Right, and he's not super familiar with the area where he dropped her body off. A lot of the serial killers that I know, the sexual ones and the compulsive ones, which this dude seems to fall in that category. And I'm sure he would be a serial killer. I'm sure he would. But they're more comfortable dumping the bodies in areas they're familiar with. And also another a guy named William Clyde Gibson I talked to, horrible sexual sadist, serial killer, awful guy. I asked him if he went back and visited the bodies of his victims, And he told his words, I'll never ever forget this. He said, sometimes it was hard not to. So could it be the compulsion, the sexual, thing in Stearns? I don't know, but it's very interesting. But so this interview we're about to watch, he had went back that night. So he was up killing Maddie, probably abusing her, Sunday going into Monday. Has to get rid of her body and all this stuff, goes through the story and everything. And then that night, instead of going to sleep, visits her body and then drives to Northport, probably to ditch evidence or something, because now cops are, around, and goes back. And then he does this interview. So he's going on like basically 2 days of no sleep. And you can fucking tell by looking at him. And that also really, he really looks like he's been on Adderall or some shit. Like he looks horrible.
How would you sleep? Think about that. Think of all the things going around in your head. It would be impossible.
Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah.
Especially after your first murder, right? Like if you're not like a seasoned person,
that's a great point. That really is a great point. Yeah.
And if you hadn't planned it, right? And this is what I was saying. I was giving you possible reasons that happened before. If it transpired as a reaction to something she threatened him with, or if it was an accident that happened during like a rape, where he was strangling her but didn't intend to kill her. Suddenly he's, he didn't plan it, so he didn't anticipate any of this happening. So he's been flying by the seat of his pants since the moment it happened.
To add something to that theory, Bank Lee, is that the month of February, this takes place, she was murdered, I believe, February 25th, going into 26th. And February, she had missed her period that month. They haven't said she was pregnant or anything like that. I'm not going to say that, but
it's another level.
I will say it has been part of the investigation that she had missed her period in the month of February. So
he freaked out immediately if that's the case. What was that February? Yeah, the end of February there. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And I will just add, even though he seems like he's almost certainly guilty, when we are saying, he's doing this because of that, we're starting with the axiom, like, if he is indeed guilty and this is his behavior next to his guilt, this would explain those things. It's not like we're saying we know he is guilty because he's not found guilty in a court of law. So everything that's coming off this is based on a speculation, not a known fact that he's guilty.
This is all hypothetical.
Disclaimer.
100%. That's a great disclaimer, actually.
Allegedly, put allegedly on it all. Allegedly. All
right, let's rock here. Oh, shoot.
The first question is if I can get your first and last name and spell them both out for me.
Stephan Stearns, Stephan Stearns.
All right, so Stephan, you seem very emotional right now. Explain to us.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. It's the last time we saw her.
What were the conversations that y'all had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school when she got out. I love her. She said thanks, love you too. That was it.
And so where do you think she could possibly be? I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she can be, and we're scared.
See, pause it.
We just want her home.
When he's recalling, when he's going through his script, he kind of looks like at the nothing object down, and then kind of looks up at the camera or at the producer or whatever at the end to kind of give it some genuineness. He's playing the role.
He's in full actor mode, right?
And then when he gets asked a question that's not part of the script, he's looking more directly at them because he doesn't have to look down to recall in his head and play the script. He's more interactive with them during those questions, so you can see when he's back to reading the script, and it's very interesting.
another kind of rule of thumb that I find very useful is when someone's being genuinely emotional, you tend to feel something if you have any empathy yourself. And I don't feel it. And maybe that's because I've been prejudiced by what we discussed this before. But I don't know. It doesn't seem to me like this would trigger any feelings in me. He's doing the eyes. He's doing the voice.
The meek voice.
But he doesn't
I'm
actually
innocent.
seem
I could
distraught.
never
It's
hurt.
all a bit too restricted.
Yeah, I could never hurt a fly. I'm innocent. I'm a victim here. Like he makes himself very, not.
It looks like his face can't wait to go back to neutral.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. But yeah, interesting stuff far already.
And when he was speaking with them before, he didn't say that he had driven her to school, right? He said that he saw her walk. I remember that correctly?
He said he did drive her to school, but dropped her off about half a mile down the road because she didn't want to be seen getting out of his hoopty car. But the thing is that her school doesn't start till 9:30, and they left at like 7 a.m. before anybody woke up and happened to see them. So, and later the mom was like, "Why the fuck did you take her so early?" But yeah. Anyways.
And generally, it's just those are the things that matter the most. It's just all deviations from people's routines on the day of the child goes missing, right? You see what people typically do, and then you see how much each person's pattern around the child deviates in the time around, when they go missing, and it's deviating significantly, and then, he's not going to be able to explain that adequately, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. Hey, Steve.
Are you, in a sense, blaming yourself?
It's hard not to.
Why?
I dropped her off early. I could have waited longer.
That was he looked at when he looked and said it's hard not to. That was like a deep look in his eye for just a split second. That was funky to me. If you go back, he looked a little bit different than he had before.
Yeah.
Other day,
he kind of looks blankly at the camera to sell it, but when that one, he kind of looks a little harder.
Dude, that's the best word for what's happening right here. He's trying to sell this. Like he's literally, he might as well be a door-to-door salesman at this point. Like he's trying to sell you on this this entire facade of him like being so fucking sad.
This is selling
like there's no tears coming out of his eyes. Like
that's
selling like Michaels versus Hogan's. What was it? SummerSlam.
Oh, the overselling, Hogan and Mike.
Yeah.
Bro, right there, he looks like he could just be smelling a fart. Right, he looks like mildly uncomfortable.
Mildly uncomfortable.
He's trying so fucking hard. Like
that expression up, right?
Like right now, he's thinking, "What do sad people look like? What do sad people feel like?" Like,
it's hard not to blame myself.
What has the conversation been with Jen since?
He just held that
She's been there
for a little long.
A lot stronger than me.
And it was.
She's been holding it together really well, but it just keeps coming in waves. Just the reality keeps hitting. And we don't know where she is. We don't know if she's safe. We're just scared. We just want her home.
Have you, like, literally put boots on the ground, went out?
I went out with the cops where I had dropped her off, and we looked all up and down the road.
Pause that. He makes himself the hero there for a second. Yeah, I even went out with the cops. So, like, it's so.
Why would you sign it?
Fucking perform. I know. Yeah. Because you're trying to like,
Yeah. It's like you haven't thought about why you're doing it. You haven't thought about what the thing that triggers the sigh is. You're just going, I should sigh.
This is a sad noise to make right now.
That's my cue. That's my cue to let you know this is so hard for me.
What sound would a sad human
Don't
make right now?
Me of anything. Feel bad for me. That's what that is.
everyone acts differently in these sorts of situations. Everyone has different psychology and a manner of presentation. But I imagine something genuine would be something like, I went out with the cops. We looked all around the area. I haven't been able to sleep. All I'm thinking was, more like, kind of more like this.
Instead of just docile.
And,
Yeah.
something again with the sighing that it could be is that again, Lee, that could be another regulatory thing he uses. Because after he's arrested for the child sexual assault images they found, he starts sighing like fucking crazy a lot. And so I'm wondering if he's trying to like pull this lie off. He's got to kind of like bring himself down or de-escalate or focus, and that's his way of
like
so
centering
maybe
himself.
Maybe it is subconscious, and it's not like I got a sigh here to drill, but either way, it's not fucking genuine. So
yeah.
And there was nothing helpful. None of the cameras were pointing the street. Nothing, which in 2024 was surprising. The church across the street had some cameras, and they mentioned seeing her waiting around in the parking lot for a while before moving on, and that was it. But it was grainy. It was grainy footage and not much.
So this isn't a lie, but he's taking advantage of something. The investigators checked a church parking lot where he had said he dropped her off around the area, and they did see somebody there, and that's what they told. I think they told them that, like, at first they said it was her or it was someone, but this is what he's referring to. So they're like, yeah, the church camera did pick up her or someone. I can't remember how they phrased it or what they said, but so he's taking advantage of that, to use in his favor now and say, oh, they saw her over there. I know she was over there, because he doesn't give a fuck,
Mm-hmm.
So
that is interesting.
Seems like she walked west, east.
They said in the direction of the school. I'm not sure what that is.
What was the language? Not language verbally, body language. When you dropped her off, did she seem happy? Was she like, I'm going to meet my friends?
Happy. She had a happy weekend. She just turned 13. She had her 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together here, and she's just very happy. She was a happy kid. She's very sweet. She's a very sweet girl. She brings a lot of joy to us, and we just not knowing.
Allegedly.
So the unknown is coming.
Yeah, it's like our whole world is upside down. Not feeling her presence here is... Sorry. It's hard.
His body doesn't shudder, right? Like he seems overcome, but his body's still stiff. If you actually think about what it's like to cry, it's something that happens to your upper body.
Dude, that's a great fucking point, man. Yeah,
a very good
you
point.
lose control of yourself, really. Like if you're that emotional, yeah, dude, that's a great point. Like he's working overtime to keep control of everything, and at the same time trying to make it look like he's sad as fuck. Like he's doing so many things in his brain.
He's got to be dull at this point too. 2 days. Regardless.
Dude, it's like an actor nonstop acting for 48 hours. Like,
yeah, regardless. I mean, and that shit is God. Can you fucking imagine? Like the I couldn't do it. I would fucking be like, I can't keep this up. It's got to be exhausting. So this dude is probably just like worn to shit and just fucking like. That's why I think this.
He's thinking, do I off myself? Like, I'm sure that's running through his head. Like,
I'm sure he's thinking every option imaginable right now.
Yeah.
So I think it was this night, or it might have been the next night. Anybody in the chat, feel free to correct me. I saw another interview with Jen that she said that he started freaking out about them taking his phone, and
right. That's I was just about to say that, Chris. I think that's primarily what he'd be thinking of. So they've already got his phone at this point.
They might. I can't. I don't want to give bad info to anybody. I don't know, honestly. They might though.
Because that's just like a ticking time bomb, right? Because at some point
Dude.
he knows
Oh,
they're going to
yeah.
check his phone,
Mhm.
and there's all kinds of data on the phone beyond just like the child sex abuse stuff there too. But even if he has his phone right now, he's probably thinking like, so what should I do? Delete my phone? But the
Yeah.
problem is
So
then they look at
he
your
was
phone. Well, why
trying.
did you just delete your phone?
Dude, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, you're like,
let me explain what happened with the phone real quick. This is a very quick explanation. So he had images of Maddie and him saved on his Google Drive, and
oh,
he planned this. Jen was in the room, and he's like, "Oh, I need to update my phone. I need to update my phone." Well, she goes, "Well, just stop talking about it and do it." And he was like, "Oh, I've been putting it off, making a big production of it." And then he goes, "Oh, I don't know what happened, but I just reset my phone." And she was just like, "How the fuck did you do that?" And he was like, "I don't know, but everything's gone. I reset my phone." So she was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, he tried to update his phone and reset." And this was the story he told the cops as well, because they're like, "Is it weird you don't have anything?" He was like, "Oh, I tried to update it and reset it." So that's what happened to that. So the cops were like, "Yeah, cool. Let's see that phone real quick." But when they had his phone, he was trying to use Jen's phone to get into his Google account, but he couldn't because it was like two-step authentication. So he was fucked. So, but around that time, he was just like freaking out about them having his phone and stuff. I don't know if they had his phone during this interview, but if they did, he had to have been like thinking like, "Holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck."
Anytime, dude. His heart has to be
Yeah.
coming through his fucking chest.
Yes. So I think if anything is bothering him or making him seem upset or whatever, it's if they have his phone at this point, but I don't know.
Like, the only thing I could put it to is like, I don't know how vivid you guys have dreams, but like I've had dreams where I've murdered somebody before and the cops are after me, and in that dream I'm trying to figure out because it's real to me in the time, right? I'm trying to figure out how to conceal, whatever. Like I'm trying to play along. I'm trying to make sure they're not after me. Like, but it feels so fucking real. And even when you wake up, there's just that split second of like that fear still there. Like this is days of this. Like that's trippy to think about.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting away with murder now unless you're extremely lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the police would have to be incompetent, and you have all kinds of
extremely random, right? Like,
well, even then, like you have to plan, right? There's so much shit that can get you now. I mean, your phone's listening to you all the time.
That's true.
It really is. People don't think that's happening. Yes, it is, and it's being collected.
100%.
Stevie, is there a date on this interview right here that we're watching?
Let me see. The video was uploaded March 1st, 2024, so it had to be...
It was before. I know it was before that. It was probably so if she went missing so this was either on the night of this was probably the 26th or 27th. I think 27th. I want to say they're at a hotel in this interview because they had locked the house down and turned it into a crime scene. Yeah, I don't know, but they might have his phone at this point, which is another thing.
Which is insane to think about. Like,
which is it's probably very, very forefront of his mind if that is in fact the case.
Yeah.
Just trying to break down what like he's probably thinking about in this time,
Should I kill myself? Should I run?
That's dude. Like,
yeah, for
like
sure.
And I mean, hell, there could have been a moment where he did get to that moment or that spot where he was maybe going to off himself and didn't have the balls to do it, right?
Well, I read in one interview that said something of the effect that, and I can't say who said this and where I read it. Please don't, take this at face value, but I said something about like somebody, maybe his dad or somebody, had asked him why he took Jen's car to go back to where the body was. And he told them that he was going to go back there to kill himself. So yeah, he did apparently say that to somebody I think it was in a jail phone call with his dad, like early on when he was in jail, and he wouldn't talk much more about it or something like that.
I mean, at that moment, your options are
But yeah,
leave this planet, or you're fucking gonna be probably raped in jail for the rest of your life. Like, I mean,
you probably should kill yourself.
At
That's actually a smart option.
Honestly,
it's the hardest one to do.
Yeah.
We could do a whole episode.
And
I'll tell everybody all about Florida death row. It is
Yeah.
not a fun place.
But it's over. Like, your reputation's gone. You're gonna just be stuck inside eating mashed potatoes. And, really, you should kill yourself just from philosophical standpoint.
100%.
To know when they see this.
She's a sweetheart. She's a very sweet, kind girl. Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you find her. Tell her that we love her. Wherever she is, I hope she's okay.
I mean, if someone were to come in contact with her and you gave me her diagnoses, would it be easy to approach her without any like agitation or anything?
Yeah. She's a good kid. She's a good kid.
If you can sum up in one complete sentence, waking up, getting ready to drop her off at school, dropping her off at school, to now speaking to me after talking to the police about her being missing for over 24 hours right now. In one complete sentence, what would that be?
A living nightmare. It's a living nightmare. Day started off like any other. And I just want to wake up. You just get hit with waves of the reality, just it's setting in. As soon as it got dark last night, we started falling apart because we knew it wasn't going to come to an end.
Yeah.
And now we're going on 24 hours and still nothing. Just conflicting reports here and there. People say they see this or that. None of it's conclusive and none of it's helpful.
Yeah, he is rambling.
We just want our baby girl back.
Tom, any questions?
Lee, what do you think? What do you think about all that you just heard right there?
I think if you go back and do it again when he starts, he begins and then he pauses for a long moment. And I think he's like, oh shit, I started really getting into something. Now I have to think about what I'm going to say. And another thing, like, I don't think most people typically use the word conclusive when they're in that sort of emotional state. Like, just none of it's really that conclusive.
Yeah, that was a strange word to pull out of his ass.
Yeah. And that's a big thing with all of his interviews and stuff. His vocabulary stands out so fucking much to me, It's just a lot of these words he picks just kind of like you said, Lee, they just don't, it's not natural. It's like alien acting human,
I think that people just naturally tend to use like 1 and 2 syllable words, and that even if you have a good vocabulary, you're kind of being reduced to a more base emotional state. And even just things like trying to get your breath, and you're not trying to, I think you're using different parts of your brain.
Yeah. You're
not tapped into that linguistic center that you would do. Like right now, I'm using words like linguistic because I'm being asked to analyze a video. I'm totally calm. So I have those at my command, but I wouldn't be, I don't think I'd be using those words if I was crying.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah, dude. This shit's crazy, though. It's fucking nuts, man. Like, and we still got a lot more to dig in here, Chris. Like,
oh yeah. We're we'll finish this one up, and then because I don't think it's very long, and then next week we'll.
Yeah, that was it on this one. Yep.
Oh, that was it. That's done.
Yeah, that was the very end.
Oh, dude. Yeah. So, anyways, that guy fucking sucks. And
I can't wait to see some of the interrogation stuff, though. Like, I haven't dove into any of that, man. Like,
yeah.
To see how he's acting right now compared to when he actually gets arrested is going to be interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna get my buddy Jody Plichet to come hang out. He's an expert in sexual assault and just a really well-rounded, knowledgeable dude. And he was actually victimized by a horrible pedophile when he was younger, was kidnapped by him, But I'm gonna get my friend Jody, and he's gonna add his 2 cents on Stephan Stearns, which is definitely worth listening to. So,
hell yeah!
And
And
remember to remind Jody's mom not to turn on the microwave.
I will. I will. Oh my goodness, his internet goes to shit when his mom turns the microwave on.
Oh
and
shit!
He's from Baton Rouge, and we're like, that is so fucking backwards, like backwoods Baton Rouge, like dumb redneck.
That's some old school shit. Yeah.
I swear to you, she kept doing it, and it kept fucking up, and I was like, holy shit! It really his mom. His mom using the microwave fucks his internet.
That's crazy.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. So.
I saw him that interview with Jay.
Yeah, Jody rules.
It was awesome, man. He was really cool.
Yeah. If anybody can go back and if Jay still has that episode up, the shaming of Jay, go check that out, and you can see what type of dude Jody is. But Jody knows his shit, and he's a good buddy of mine. But he has a very respectable amount of knowledge when it comes to this stuff. So it'll be cool to kind of dig into Stephan Stearns a little more, like as a pure sex offender, like as a pure, pedophile, from Jody's standpoint as a trained victim advocate and speaker and author. So that's going to be cool too.
And
I did want to comment on, we talked about him, Stephan Stearns being into passed out, face down.
Yeah. So let's touch on that real quick. So Maddie, in several of the photos of her being abused, she seems to be unconscious or in a state of unconsciousness. And a woman who had sexual relations with Stephan Stearns said he wouldn't get fully aroused unless she kind of laid face down limp on the bed.
Right. So that's on what we call the necrophilia spectrum. And it's basically sexual preference for stillness, but also not just the body being still, but also like the victim maybe being unaware, the victim unable to struggle or to criticize or anything like that. And so if you look at one end of the spectrum, it's what you call somnophilia. You see a lot of guys who are aroused by victims that aren't dead, but they're unconscious or asleep. And you can see this as an antecedent in a lot of sexual murderers who then go on to be necrophilic murderers.
I think I've even heard that as a kink
Another
before.
thing on that spectrum is Pygmalionism, which is like mannequins and dummies, because it's they're not actual human beings, but they are a still human form.
Which to Lee, thank you for bringing that up, because he did have like sex dolls and stuff in his bedroom at his parents' house. So absolutely, you're right on the mark with that.
Yeah, and so what that indicates is that it's possible that that such an offender would be aroused by the idea of necrophilic sex. We don't know that that's what happened, but there's indicators that it could have gone there.
Which is why I wanted Lee to come on here, because that this case is gnarly, and I try to tell people that we're going to get dark with it, because we are going to get dark with it, because there is a possibility that Stephan Stearns engaged in a sort of necrophilic behavior. Very, very possible. So.
Yeah. And Lee, dude, yeah, man. Anything you want to plug, dude?
No, not really. Not these days.
Do you still do a podcast at all?
I highly recommend Lee's book.
I'll put your books up and your website in the chat.
Yeah, Behind the Horror, great book.
Behind the Horror is a lot of fun. Yeah,
fantastic book. Lee, give a breakdown.
I think I'm going to get the conspircy one myself.
Yeah, that was the last one I did. That was a lot of fun.
I'm deep into some wild shit right now in that world.
Yeah, I mean, between 2010 and 2021, 2020 really, all I did was study crime and murders and paraphilia and stuff. So I wrote a lot of books on the topic. I wrote the 2 canonical books on multiple murder in Canada, Cold North Killers, Canadian Serial Murder, and Rampage, Canadian Mass Murder and Spree Killing. Now, I didn't really know my shit back then. I thought I did. But the cases are interesting. Then the 2 textbooks I wrote, Understanding Necrophilia and Homicide, a Forensic Psychology Casebook, those are for like serious study. That's the next level. That's when I'd really gotten to formally studying this with Eric Hickey. And then the last few things I've done, the crime book, Behind the Horror, Conspiracies Uncovered, those are with Penguin. And those are more just like popular, lighter reads. But between them, they've sold over 350,000 copies.
Wow,
so
great!
A lot of people like them. Yeah.
Lee is a great writer. I'm not bullshitting. It's good stuff.
That's fucking awesome, man. Lee, dude, yeah, but it was awesome meeting you, bro. Like, this has been good, and dude, hopefully you'll come back on, man.
Yeah. What is it, next week? You want to do it,
dude? If you're down to come on next week, that'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, I should be okay too. I'll let you know if something comes up, but otherwise you can assume that I'll be there.
Cool. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, so folks, next week should be, keep your eye on the socials, but 8 p.m. Eastern time should be again what we're going to do, series episode 2. And tomorrow, the next time you'll see me though will be with my brother tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time right here for a Thursday show, and of course Feral Friday and Murder Church is coming at you. But yeah, man, what a fucking dope show! I really, Chris, man, thank you, bro. Like, this has been dope.
Thank you. And this is all credit to Steve here. Don't let
no.
this on me. All of this is Steve. Steve, great job. Everybody in the chat, give it up for Steve.
But thank you all so much. Have a great fucking Thursday. Come back here tomorrow night, and definitely come back here for episode 2 of this next Wednesday. Guys, thank you all so fucking much, and thank you all. Later.
Peace.